Hey everyone, Jon Corra here, Marketing Director for McClinton Mitsubishi. And this is my 2021 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. I bought this brand new in November of 2021, and I have owned this for just over 9 months, and it just hit 20,000 miles. So I want to give you a long-term ownership update on my vehicle and point out some of the things I like and some of the things that I don't like about my Outlander Sport. So join me as we take this journey together. So here's a little background. I actually had an Outlander Sport before this. I bought a 2018 Outlander Sport ES back in 2018. And over 3 years, I put over 60,000 miles on it. And I decided in November of last year to trade it in on this one. Nothing wrong with my old Outlander Sport. It was just a base model, and I wanted something with a little bit more features. And there was a refresh in 2020 on the Outlander Sport, and I decided to upgrade to this one. This is an SE. It is front-wheel drive. And it has a lot of features that I really needed on my vehicle. So that's the main reason why I upgraded. In addition, in between the time I bought my previous Outlander Sport and by the time I bought this one, we had included this new warranty called the McClinton Million. It's a 10-year million-mile powertrain warranty. And I really wanted that because I do, as you can tell, put a lot of miles on my vehicle every year. So like I said, 9 months, this thing has almost 20,000 miles on it. I will say I've had no issues whatsoever, or as far as like no mechanical issues. There's been a few things that I have caused that have gone wrong, and I'll point those out in just a moment. But overall, I would say I'm very happy with this vehicle, and I'm going to take you around to show you some highlights here now. Okay, so full disclosure, this is the second time today I filmed this video. When I did it originally, the vehicle was filthy. I'm like, you know what? I should probably wash this. So this is my cleaned up Outlander Sport. One of the first things I want to point out and why I truly love this vehicle is the headlights. So this was an upgrade over my previous Outlander Sport. In 2020, they upgraded to LED headlights, and that makes a world of difference with this vehicle. I will say that I did not love the headlights before. To me, they were dim. But this is great. They set up a lot better. Of course, that's the headlight. It does have daytime running lights too, or the LED light strips there at the bottom. Great style. Beneath that is the turn signal, and this one does have fog lights. My 2018, once again, was an ES, so it didn't have fog lights. So overall, my visibility at night or in poor weather conditions is awesome. So that's one of the things I really like about this one over my previous one. I also like the styling quite a bit. It's a more mature look in my mind than the previous one that I had. So this one looks more like the Eclipse Cross at the time in the previous Outlander. As we all know, the Outlander got upgraded for 2022, so the styling's not very similar now. This one also has, like all new Mitsubishis, forward collision mitigation with pedestrian detection. That's standard on every Mitsubishi that you buy. It wasn't back when I got my 2018, so it's an added safety feature. I haven't really had to test it out much, but there's a few times where it's alerted me about obstacles that I may not have noticed before. Here's one of the greatest features on the Outlander Sport. If you get any model above the S, you get these 18-inch rims. Even the ES, which is one step above the S, gets the 18-inch rims. One note, I will say that my previous Outlander Sport had better looking rims than this one. These aren't bad by any means. The two-tone's nice, but I did like the previous rims better. One other quick note, I will be upgrading my tires very soon. I am not a fan of the Nexons that come on this vehicle. My previous one, they wore out too fast and they're not great in the snow. That's just my personal opinion. This is a front-wheel drive Outlander Sport. So for wintertime, probably by the end of August, I'll be buying new tires for this vehicle, something with a little more aggressive tread. For daily driving, they're fine. I've had no issues whatsoever, but for, I do take this mildly off-road, and I do have to drive into snow a lot during the winter months, so I'm going to get something a little bit more, something upgraded for the winter time. Another feature I really like on this one that was an improvement over my old vehicle is the pass key system, which right there, I can push that button and lock the doors, unlock the doors. It has the power folding mirrors too, which I really enjoy. The reason is I park in a lot of areas in which there's a lot of close traffic or pedestrians walking in between the vehicles. So it's nice to have that. And of course, I can just hit it again, and that unlocks the vehicle. So it's really great. We'll show you the interior in just a second. So I mentioned it before in the intro that there were some issues with this vehicle that are not the car's fault. One is, and you might not be able to see, there's a dent there. Someone in the parking lot hit my vehicle, so it's got a dent here in the back door. I have to get that fixed. Down here on the back rim, which was on the passenger side before, there's some road rash because I hit a curb in Athens like a month after buying this. I'm not the best parallel parker in the world, so that's one of the biggest problems. And you can probably tell there's some fender damage here too, where I hit a pole, also in Athens, Ohio. It's minor, but it's there. I'm not perfect. Going around to the back, I also want to point out I love the tail lights on this generation Outlander Sport. These are LED tail lights. They're really bright. Now, I believe the reverse lights and the turn signals there are incandescent, but the actual tail lights / brake lights right here are indeed LED. I also want to point out that I love that it has amber turn signals. I mentioned that in other videos of mine. I just think they're safer. That's what I prefer. Once again, personal preference. And let's take a quick look at the interior. I want to point out some stuff inside that I really enjoy. First of all, I love that push button start. My previous vehicle didn't have that. So it's nice to have push button start now. It does have automatic climate control, satellite radio. My previous one did not have satellite radio. One of the features I use the most here on the infotainment screen is the Apple CarPlay, or if you have an Android phone, it's Android Auto. This screen is about an inch bigger than the one that I had on my ES, so it's much bigger and it's much clearer. Now granted, you're watching this on a video, there's all kinds of reflections, but the backup camera is easier to use now that it's on a bigger screen. So that's one of my favorite features there about that. It does have, like I mentioned before, automatic climate control, which is great. Even the base models have that. And it has heated seats, which is awesome. Oops, I apologize. I'm messing with the zoom there. Okay, there we go. Heated seats, automatic wipers, which is awesome. I never thought I would use the automatic wipers that often, but they're amazing. One thing that's nice is you can turn them off if you're in a car wash. So you can just flip the switch up. Actually, I can show you real quick. Just go like that, and that will turn them off. So you don't have to worry about them going off while you're in a car wash. This one does, as I mentioned, have forward collision mitigation, has lane departure warning, and it also has blind spot monitoring, which is right there in the mirror. You can see the little diagram of the car. Love that feature quite a bit. Also, when I'm in reverse, which I can't really demonstrate it right now for you, but it also has rear cross traffic alert. So when you put the car in reverse and you're backing out of like a space, and let's say there's tall vehicles on either side of you, and you can't quite see, this will alert you if there's a vehicle coming behind you, which is awesome. And it's from either side of the vehicle. So it's letting you know if there's something approaching from your left or right. It will beep, and then over there, the little light or the blind spot monitoring symbols will light up also. So that's an awesome feature that I didn't think I was going to use as much as I do. Also mentioning here the automatic headlights, love those. So yeah, that's some of the stuff I like on the interior of the vehicle. All right, everyone, I thought I'd take you for a quick drive because we haven't really done much as far as a driving review of the Outlander Sport in a while. So I'm going to give you a tour in mine and just let you know what it's like to live with every day, because A test drive really only lasts a few minutes usually, and you can't quite get a good grasp of that vehicle until you've been with it for a while. So I'm just going to take you for a quick drive and share some more of my thoughts here. One thing a lot of people want to ask about is the CVT transmission and what it's like. Honestly, before I owned one, I wasn't a big fan of the CVT. Having now my second Outlander Sport, I can say that I've had no problems with it whatsoever. Keep in mind, this is not a sports car. The Outlander is not a sports car. The Eclipse Cross, not a sports car. The CVT does just fine for what I need it to do. Gets good gas mileage. Acceleration for me hasn't been a problem. One thing I do like that they do here in the Outlander Sport is they give you an actual low range. So you can shift into low if you're ascending a hill that's covered in snow. There's also a sport mode in this vehicle. So like the Outlander Sport has a sport mode. I use that more often than I thought I would, especially if I'm getting ready to get on a highway here. If I need to merge into traffic and I need a little extra acceleration, I will switch it to that sport mode. It does just fine. You're hearing the lane departure warning work there. Not always the best at keeping it in the lines, but overall the CVT is not a big issue for me whatsoever. It's quiet. I don't hear the whine. Back in the day, some CVTs would whine, and I just put it in sport mode because I'm getting on the interstate. You can hear it accelerate a lot faster than it would normally, but not an issue whatsoever as far as whining goes. I drove some Nissans back in the day, like an Altima and a Maxima, that had pretty significant whine. This doesn't. As far as road noise goes, it's about average for this class. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't a luxury vehicle. One thing I was like the new Outlander has double pane windows. You can really tell a difference on that vehicle when you're driving on the highway like this. But still, it's pretty quiet for the most part. I know that will change once I get more aggressive tires, but overall, it's a great vehicle for highway driving. You couldn't see that, but a deer just ran out in front of me. So that's one of those things where it's nice to have the forward collision mitigation. We are in West Virginia, and deer are everywhere. It's one of the reasons why we have one of the highest insurance rates in the United States, is because our deer population is insane. And I'm sure you can imagine hitting a deer at 65 miles per hour would have done a lot of damage to this vehicle. So it's always good to keep an eye out for those critters along the road. So yeah, great vehicle for highway cruising, road trips. I have put almost, or at this point, 20,000 miles on it, and a lot of that has been on the highway, doing trips to visit my sister in Tennessee, or I've been to Pennsylvania several times, Columbus, Ohio. No issues whatsoever on the highway. Comfortable ride. My trip to Tennessee is 6 hours long, so no fatigue. And I will say, you can tell, I'm a big person. I'm 6'4", and as you can tell by the intro, I'm not small. And this vehicle for me is comfortable. You can tell I got plenty of headroom. I'm, like I said, 6'4". I have a long torso. I fit in here just fine. My legs are not crowded, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't go with the Eclipse Cross. The console on the Eclipse Cross intrudes more into the footwell. So for me, the Outlander Sport is a more comfortable vehicle because I can spread my legs out further in this vehicle, and as far as everyday driving goes, it's a lot more comfortable for me. If you are concerned about acceleration or speed and all that fun stuff, you can get an Outlander Sport GT, which has the 2.4 liter four-cylinder. This one has the 2.0. It's about 20 more horsepower. That's available on the GT only. The GT currently is only available in all-wheel drive. Going forward, every Outlander Sport will only be available in all-wheel drive. So there will be no more front-wheel drive Outlander Sports. 20 more horsepower. You can also get leather on the GT. Currently in 2022, the SE model, which I have, comes with the synthetic or suede material. That was not an option for 2021, so mine has the cloth. I don't mind the cloth one bit myself. But yeah, for everyday driving, this is a great vehicle. If you get a chance, come out, take one for a test drive. You'll be surprised. It's a great value. I mentioned before, but the 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty from the factory, then our 10-year, million-mile powertrain warranty, 5-year, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper. You'll be surprised by the great value that this vehicle is. Brand new, this one's gonna be about $27,000 plus tax. It is closer to the high end of the range. You can get a new Outlander starting around 24, 25. So if you get a chance, like I said, stop by, take one for a test drive. And all right, so I also want to point out one of the great features about this vehicle is the fuel mileage. I actually just took on a trip over the weekend. I got 31 miles per gallon on the highway. This is a front wheel drive vehicle. The all wheel drive one gets a little bit less than that. But like I said, 20,000 miles in 9 months, it still gets great gas mileage. No major issues as far as mechanical stuff goes. I've just had to change the oil, rotate the tires, replace the cabin air filter. At 30,000 miles, I will have to change the transmission fluid. And as quick as I drive, it'll probably be November of this year, I'll be replacing the transmission fluid in this vehicle. But you can't beat the fuel mileage. It's plenty of room. I don't use the back seat often. I'm single, no kids, but sometimes I take my friends on trips with me. I do travel quite a bit by road. I took this thing to Tennessee a few times, Pittsburgh, Columbus almost every weekend, and no complaints whatsoever as far as like the comfort of the vehicle goes. For me, plenty of storage in the back. I can't really show you the cargo area right now because it's a mess, but no issues there. But I told you I'd point out a few things that I wish I'd done differently. One, I don't love the color of my Outlander Sport. I probably should have waited and got a 2022 because I'd much rather have, I'll show you over here. Oops, gotta wait for this thing to pan. I'd love to have an orange one, which we have in stock now. To me, the gray is kind of boring. My previous one was Octane Blue Metallic and it really stood out. This one's just kind of a boring gray color, but hey, to each their own. That's why they come in a variety of colors. I also really like the brown, which we don't see often, but the brown's a good color too. Also wish I would have gotten the orange, I also wish I would have gotten the all-wheel drive. I went with front-wheel drive because it was $1,000 cheaper and better gas mileage. Full disclosure, I should have gotten all-wheel drive for my conditions. So people want to know, will I keep this vehicle for the long term? And the answer is no, I will not. Even though I like it a lot and it's got no problems, likely early next year I'll be trading this in on either a 2023 Outlander or a 2023 Outlander Sport. And there's one major reason why, and that's because Mitsubishi is bringing Rally Art back. There's going to be Rally Art versions of every vehicle Mitsubishi makes here in the United States except the Mirage G4. So there will even be a Rally Art Mirage, which is awesome. So that's why I'm going to trade mine in. I've already seen a sneak peek of what these vehicles are going to look like. They're gorgeous. They're kind of more my aesthetic. They come in white, which I like quite a bit. So that is the main reason why I'm going to trade this in. Or Mitsubishi's also doing the 40th anniversary of the Outlander. Well, it's their 40th anniversary in the United States, or 40th anniversary in North America. So it's going to look really cool. So I'm going to trade this in sometime early next year. Once again, no issues whatsoever. But that is overall how I feel about owning my Outlander Sport. We don't just sell them here, we own them too. It's my second one, no issues whatsoever. If you want one, or you want any Mitsubishi, give us a call, 304-422-6501. Check us out online, mcclintonmitsubishi.com, or comment below if you have any questions you want to ask me specifically about owning one of these. I'm happy to answer those questions for you. All right, everyone, hope you have a great day.